What's going on, people? So, a few things I want to talk about. We're going to talk about them and then we're going to get up out of here. Um, First off, want to talk about, uh, continue to talk about NBA free agency. First of all, I want to shout out to Dustin for doing the live stream special with me yesterday. But of course, when we would decide to go live, nothing would happen. That was one of the most boring free agency periods that I've ever seen. And I was telling him yesterday on it. I guess I kind of get it because it kind of seems like every year the NBA makes an example out of somebody, makes an example out of somebody, and hit them with a tampering investigation. So I get it. I get it. I get it. People waiting. Um, but like the Paul George trade came through at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's crazy. Um, all right, Riz. But well, I guess I ain't need to put that up there. But anywho, so I no, Paul George went to Philly. I guess it's 5 o'clock, but regardless, that's still crazy. That's a crazy hour to get a deal done. But it's like so many deals got done overnight and today. Like nothing really interesting happened yesterday. But so I just want to pull up Shams. This is what we had up yesterday. I want to pull up Sham's Twitter. I just want to get my thoughts on some things. Let's add this. Y'all can't see that. Let's see. We'll do this. All right. So number one thing that was hilarious to me is the Mavericks sent out two second round picks to the Warriors to complete the Clay Thompson sign and trade. That's hilarious to me because I told a friend of mine yesterday, don't get your hopes up because he's a Lakers fan. He's really a LeBron fan. I said, don't get your hopes up because it seems like every single year, all of these different free agencies, not free agencies, all of these different free agents and all of these different trade targets are always linked to Los Angeles, the Lakers. But then for some reason, it doesn't happen. So I was telling him just from the perspective of me, like I make up stuff in my head when it comes to the Pelicans. Like the moment I saw, the moment I saw Paul George um, decline his player option, I'm like, could he come to the Pelicans? He ain't coming down here. So it's just easy to taper your expectations that for when things do happen, it just kind of like it's a plus. So to see him do that and then turn around, get excited, and now we right back here. I hate to say it, but it's kind of funny. It's funny because the Lakers offered D'Angelo Russell and might have been some picks too. And they just straight up said no. So you say no to a player and you say no to D'Lo, and it's kind of funny from the perspective that it seems like nobody wants D'Lo. D'Lo picked up a player option, but it seems like the Lakers don't want him because they immediately, when he tried to do that, they shopped him to try to get Thompson, and I get it because if D'Lo not playing us, it's like he's Mr. Reliable when he's playing the Pelicans. But in big games, you don't really see from him. He disappears, and I think that they were willing to just we just need shooting. And he can shoot, but he don't shoot at the clip and the expectancy in which we expect. So that's funny. That's funny that the Warriors did that to get two second rounders. And second rounders can be good. I will say that the Pelicans do great drafting second round picks. Like we have several second round picks that are key players on our team. Herb Jones, um, Jose Alvarado wasn't even a second round pick. He was a signing after the draft. So, I mean, you can do something with a second round pick, but 9 times out of 10, that second round pick ain't gonna be much of nothing. So that's funny. This second thing, this is something I wanted to talk about too. So it's on the screen. Let's talk about it. Jason Tatum, 5 year, $314 million. So first, let's clap it up for that man. Because I don't know if you know it or not, but that's good money. That's good money right there. $314 million. Now, that makes him the highest paid player in history, not in the league now, in history. Um, and it's two mentalities that go with this. Part of me, I look at it like Jason Tatum is not. When I think of Jason Tatum, I don't think of a player that is good enough to say that he is the highest paid player in the league. So I can understand somebody that has that mentality, but at the same time, you can't view it from that angle. You have to view it from the angle of this is where the league is going. This is the amount of money that people are about to start making when the TV money hits in 2 years. So when it comes to that, yes, that's a lot of money to pay. I don't consider him to be a superstar. I consider him to be a star, and don't know that there are many superstars in the league. But out of all of the stars, like, you got a lot of stars out there that are better than Jason Tatum, more consistent. But the thing is that winning does something. So I thought that they were about to get ready to go into a different direction with this team had they not won, but they won. So with that being the case, like, they have back to back largest deals in the summertime. Jalen Brown got the largest deal last year. So, they finna start passing this money around. And this right here is gonna be the norm. Um and players know it. That's why when you look around, you see role players. There are some role players that got what superstars of the past would get. They're getting it just for fulfilling the role. So, hey, that's what we are with it. A couple other things I want to get to. Let's see if Shams has it up. Now, speaking of the Rockets, a former Rockets player is going to the Clippers. I still don't know how I feel about that. So I'm not going to talk about it. Hmm. Anthony Melton is going to the Golden State Warriors. Hmm. So yeah, all right. So this is the main thing. Oh, we already talked about that, but I didn't talk about it from an aspect in which Clay. We were just talking about the Lakers. So Clay Thompson going to the Mavericks. This is something that is important simply because you just had them lose in the finals, and with them losing in the finals, like, what are you gonna do to try to get yourself back there and handle business if you get there? First of all, it's gonna take Luca looking in the mirror and having a discussion with himself and saying that I'm going to do better on defense. Even if I don't do better on defense through the regular season and through the playoffs, if I make it back to the big one, I got to at least attempt to. So that's number one. But as far as putting the people around him, I think this is interesting. Um, one thing that I will say, and let's just touch on my division. That Dallas is in my division, and I hate it because the moment where it looks like things are about to get better for us is like everybody around us always gets better. So yes, Dallas is in our division. Let's see who else is in our division. Memphis, is OKC in our division? They may be in Pacific. I don't think so. I think they're in our division. Um, so OKC, this is easily look up Googleable. um Spurs. So let's talk about Dallas and the Spurs because these are the two teams that have done a little something, and it could work out for them, could pan out, but it also couldn't. Well, could not. Clay. We don't know exactly what Clay is, but if Clay can just find just about 50% of the Clay that we were accustomed to, he will be serviceable in Dallas. So that's one thing. They can be better. I'm trying to wrap my brain around this Chris Paul to the Spurs thing. I want to know about it from top to bottom because you have one of the best coaches in NBA history and one of the best point guards, one of the best minds in this NBA history. And I just kind of question, is it going to be a clash there? But they also need some type of veteran leadership. And I feel like Chris Paul still has something left in the tank. But as I said on the stream yesterday, I kind of feel like he is, even though he's still good, I think that the league may be done with him, though he's not done with basketball. So it's good to see him there, but I just want to see how this mesh. Because a lot of times when it comes to younger teams run. Spurs are young. So with the Spurs being young, like is Chris Paul gonna run or is he gonna slow it down, half court offense? And so I'm curious to see how this works out. Um, so we'll see. We'll see there. Let's see here. I was shocked by this. I was shocked by this because here I have been calling the Knicks contenders from getting Mikal Bridges, and that was predicated on them keeping all of the ancillary pieces. So they kept OG. Don't know about Precious. I didn't look into that, but you know, I thought that they were going to keep all of these pieces. So this is a big loss for them. And ooh, forgot about it. I'm gonna get back to that. It's a big loss for them, but it's good for OKC. OKC picked up Caruso. That is a winning individual, someone who has a championship, someone that hustles, someone that can come in the locker room and immediately be an impact in the locker room and be an impact on the floor. So that's interesting. I am going to continue to monitor this situation. And I had a joke. I'm done talking about Chris Paul, but Chris Paul out here trying to play for every team in our division. He started with the New Orleans Hornets at the time. Chris Paul started off with the New Orleans Hornets. He wound up playing in Houston. He's played in OKC. Now he's playing for the Spurs. This man is literally a Dallas and a Memphis away from playing on every team in the division. And done knocked a bunch of them Western teams out also. He was pretty much a Laker. Then the league blocked that. Then he was a Clipper. He just left just left Golden State. So yeah, he was trying to work through that division too. Oh, and I forgot about the Suns. He was on the Suns. So that's Pacific. So yeah, Chris Paul done played on some teams out here now. All right, let's see what else we got. And how long have I been live? I'm gonna try to go be live for 30 minutes and then be out. Um Isaiah Joe. I like Isaiah Joe. Returning to OKC. Returning to OKC. Excuse me. I should have did that on the mic. My bad, y'all. My bad. Man, I'm still tripping off this Paul George. I ain't talking about this. I don't know. I mean, I talked about this yesterday and saying that I don't know how I feel about this because, I mean, you got a better defender and someone that can match the offensive play of someone like Harden. but Harden was just over there and they couldn't get the job done. Um, the person that they could have got the job done was Jimmy Butler, and they should have brought him back. They didn't. So I'm looking at it like, can PG become the Jimmy Butler for this team? And I don't think so. I think I think skills wise he's better, but it's the heart, the dog. I don't know that he has that dog that Jimmy has. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to monitor that for the season. I'm interested in that. And I think that's it. I think that's all the stuff that happened today. So, no, KCP went to Magic. We pretty much talked about that yesterday. This was the situation that I said I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone for right now. Where did Drummond go? Philadelphia 76ers. Okay. Um. So Russ still hasn't found a home yet. All right, that's everything there. Okay, what we got next? Let's see. Let me pull up my oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about here. So let's shift to the music section segment of this. I was absolutely 100% in love with the SWV Tiny Desk. I loved it. This is one of the first Tiny Desks that I've watched multiple times in a long time. I love this Tiny Desk. Um, it was funny, you know. I have Southern bias. Just being honest, I have Southern bias. So my Southern bias, when they was having that discussion, who is the headliner of this tour? Is it SWB, SWV, or is it Escape? And I'm like, man, hey man, we ain't just gonna do the South like that, man. Escape is all right now. Let me be the first person to clear this up and say that no, it's SWV all day. I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, man, it's a little early for this song. I would have thought that this is what you would have wrapped it up with. And then the next song come on, and I'm like, oh, forgot about that one. And so we go. What did they start it off with? Um, Dang, I forgot what did they start that? Let's see. Let's pull it up.
So into you.
Okay, there we go. I'm so into you. Now, I want to get to a part in this because yeah, I did want to talk about this. So I want to finish off by saying I love this. This was amazing. So to start off with, I'm so into you. Then I think they went to the Human Nature song. Dang, I can't think of the name. Right here, be right here. That song. And then we skip up. We get to dang, what's the let's go. Let's see real quick. I got it pulled up, so let's check.
It's a feeling that I
No.
We had no idea this.
wanna feel your love is real.
Yeah, Rain. So when Rain came on, I'm like, I would have thought that this would have been the last one. And then Wheat came on. I was like, oh my goodness, these jokers got slaps. Man, so yeah, I apologize for disrespecting SWV because I disrespected them, trying to have my Southern bias, and I am fully capable of saying when my Southern bias take over. But I'm gonna always be um, biased to the South because historically people have not done us right. So when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to R&B, like when in Northern acts, they always try to belittle us and look boys. And this is a situation right here when Escape, you, yeah, they, yeah, they got a headline, and they still sound amazing. So I wanted to talk about Tiny Desk for a moment, and I'm just curious to know who picks the audiences because and I remember when the Jesus situation happened, I looked at it and I'm like, okay, so they went and picked college students. And it kind of made me kind of question because there was a point in where they panned through the crowd and I'm seeing young people and it just kind of like I'm seeing college age people and it just kind of hit like some music just finds a place in your heart and in your soul to the point where it doesn't matter how old you are, this music is going to be something that you respond to. So when it comes, especially now, where you can go out there and you can find good rap. Like the problem with rap is just so much rap, and you really got to dig through like the underground and other stuff to really find like the good rappers outside of trap and drill and all that type of stuff. But as far as R&B, the best era for R&B, not even gonna say the best era, like that 30-year run though is 80s, 90s, 2000s. We don't have the R&B of yesterday. And maybe that's why you have this young crowd singing it. Because I want to get to a point. I want to bring up one. Let's see if I can get to it before they flag me.
is with you. No,
Nope.
I don't know what
Okay.
I
I'm gonna skip it just a little bit because I don't want to.
got
There we
me
go.
so confused. I'm so confused. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hey,
So literally, you got people in there don't know Jeezy words, and they just stopped singing. They wasn't trying to do call and response. They just stopped singing, and the crowd just kept vibing. So it just kind of hit me, and I'm like, man, that's amazing. But I guess it's a lot that goes into it. It has something to do with how we respond to rap music and some rap music. And then there's just some rap music that everybody knows. So, say for instance, all it takes is somebody to say, "Allow me to reintroduce myself," and a lot of rap fans are gonna go crazy. But I guess if you pay Jeezy, and then that's another thing why I say that's Southern bias because, but Jeezy, that's not Southern bias. Everybody knew about Snowman. That's kind of crazy to me. So just seeing how they just was feeling it and into the music, and then you got people that don't even know the ad libs for the Jeezy Tiny Desk. That was just kind of crazy to me. So I wanted to make that just bring that up. Let's see where we at now. Speaking of my Southern bias and someone who has elevated beyond Southernness, my first favorite rapper of all time, someone that I was very a part of the growth. I have been there since this was a very young teenager, and I was in my single digits. Um, but Wayne, man, Carter One, the first installment of the Carter series, just turned 20 yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? R- Doesn't matter. But yeah, just turned 20. And I just wanted to speak on it for a minute because this is an album that really had an impact on my young life. Like seeing seeing all of the high bars leave, seeing Cash Money kind of go through a different space and try to navigate through a different space. And at the same time, like knowing how Birdman was at the time, like these are and to hear Wayne elaborate on it now and saying like if you get kicked out of the studio for coming in with something outside of Reeboks, and you just kind of have to be from the region to know how we felt about Reeboks back then. So he was New Orleans to a T. They didn't do um they didn't do a lot of features with a lot of artists. It was just all Cash Money, everything. So we have our producers in Cash Money. We have our mixers, they Cash Money. Or engineers. Our engineers are Cash Money. Our rappers are Cash Money. The only people that they made exceptions for were Southern greats like UGK. So to see them go through the moment where they lost all of the hot boys and Wayne is there by himself, and then you have Juvenile come back and he's not the focal point anymore. And so to hear 500 Degrees and just to kind of know it, like Wayne is this southern artist, but on away from Baby, he is cultivating a different style in attempting to make northern music with Squad. So I was there for all of the Squad. So a lot of times when people look at Wayne, like they know Hot Boy Wayne and then they know Carter Wayne, but they didn't see the in between. So to see him work on it and train with the Squads and with um 500 Degrees, because a lot of times people will look at 500 Degrees as Wayne's worst album, but it was necessary. Without 500 Degrees, you do not get Carter One. Carter One was kind of the perfection because this is them still working within the confines of Cash Money, but him trying to tell Manny, can you make more northern sounding beats? Can you give me some boom bap? And so there was an experimental album. And though like real fans still like 500 Degrees, it's not Carter One. Carter One, it depends on what day it is and how I feel. But Carter One could be my favorite Wayne album. It's normally ping ponging back and forth between Carter One and Carter Two. But the beauty of Carter One is that this was your last great, what I feel is truly Cash Money, foundational Cash Money, Hot Boy Cash Money album. Like Manny produced this whole album. You got a little Jazzy Faye in there also, but it was after this album that Manny left, and then that's when we get a different sound with Cash with Carter Two. But this album turning 20 made me feel old for one, because this album came out when I was 14 years old. And here I am about to, well, not 14 years old, 13 years old. And here I am about to turn 34. So, and I was about to turn 14 then. So this album, I just remember, like, especially like me being a rapper when I was young, it was albums like this, album like Carter 2, that made me take and try to mimic what my favorite rapper was doing. So Carter One is gonna always have a special place in my heart. Um, and even though I have my nitpicks with it, I love this album. Um, it's one of those albums that's always gonna take me back to a place. So it's cool seeing the fact that this album turned 20 and looking back at it and thinking like, man, I remember when that album came out. Like, this is an album that this is back when we used to go Tuesday on CDs. I had to get somebody to buy me this album. I could not buy this album. So Yeah, man, this is dope. It's a little bit different now where you can just pull your phone out and just buy explicit content no matter your age. When I was younger, you had to be over the age of 18 to purchase this, and they'll let you get by. When I was 16, I mean, I could go in there and buy explicit content, but I couldn't buy it at 13. Um, you know what? I think I did buy The Mind of Manufacture, which came out that same year, but I was 15. I think I did buy that one from FYE, For Your Entertainment. Are those even still around? They just you can't go and just there are no music stores. But anyway, happy birthday, Carter One. In about a year and a half, December of 2025, we'll be talking about the birthday of Carter Two. Probably my favorite Wayne album, but I'll let it be Carter One for the day. All right, I'm about to get out of here. I want to touch on a couple more things before we get out of here. I have some thoughts. First of all, I thought that was kind of funny. What Donald Glover, Childish Gambino did on the stage at the BET Awards, saying that he has more Grammys than Will Smith, but has the same amount of BET Awards as Sam Smith, and that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. That's crazy. Both 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 statements were crazy. Um, Maybe not so much, but anywho, um, so speaking of Will Smith, it's a lot of stuff going on around him. I was watching Bad Boys the other day, probably about a week or two ago. Same day as Scraping the Coast, so whatever weekend that was, I went to go watch it. And as I'm watching it, I see the slap scene, and that was funny to me. And I just kind of like, Will Smith is black. Will Smith is definitely of the culture. I seen memes going around and said you thought that the black community was gonna be mad at Will Smith for slapping somebody. We can never be mad at Will Smith, and to an extent, I agree with him. But I did think that it was funny. Just I know the types of things that people do when they're in damage control with the PR, and I don't think that I don't want to say that Will Smith used us because he don't have to use us. We're gonna always love him. But to an extent, it kind of feels like he did. Like, would have like going back to last year, would Will Smith had done that Grammy, not Grammy, yeah, the Grammy Hip Hop 50. Would he have done that if it were not for the slap? Because at this point in time, I had to work on my public persona. I have to do whatever it is that I have to do in order to get back into the good graces of people. Therefore, let me go back over here to this sub group of people that I know always gonna have love for me, and let's go overtime over there. And like you said, we're gonna always have love for them, but then it's just the fact that that's in your back pocket that I don't know, man. I don't know because then you go do another Bad Boys. Like if you look at the duration between the Bad Boys, I think Bad Boys One came out in '95, Bad Boys Two came out in 0203. So that's 7 8 year difference. Then Bad Boys for Life and Bad Boys Two, that's like a probably like a 20-year gap. When did out? No, when did that come out? Like 2021 maybe. So like you talking about 18 19 years. And then now there's like the shortest gap that we've ever got between Bad Boys. We just happen to get that now. It was a great movie, by the way. After Bad Boys 3, I thought they was going on. I thought we was going on a Fast and Furious route. This was still kind of Fast and Furiousy, but it was a little bit more realistic, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Fast and Furious too, but I go there to laugh at at the stuff that I know that that's not possible. Um, but yeah, they tried to make this one a little bit better in that regard. So, um, yeah, it was good. But to bring it home with the BET Awards, it's like normally when you have people of that stature, and to an extent, I respect it because people always complain about the Grammys and all of these different ones, but then won't come to the BET Awards, and it's like, okay, so you don't want to represent your own, but you want acceptance from other people, and really, it's all never mind. We but BET, and that's one of the reasons why I loved what Killer Mike said, and this is gonna be my wrap up of the BET Awards. Killer Mike said it, got on the stage and said, "Man, I'm not even supposed to be back in this building. I'm not supposed to be back in this building, but I'm here. And I'm here because of these black people that own this black network." And it was just a moment because I remember vividly, even though that was this year, I vividly remember, and I think that was right when I started making content. So I made a video surrounding it. So it was dope to see him have this you know, the Grammys. I feel like that was Killer Mike went out there intentionally. He created that album in attempt to win a Grammy. So the two different speeches are different. Grammy speech is him going out there and displaying pure emotion. This is how I feel. BET, on the other hand, is these are my thoughts. I'm intentional with this. This is what I want to go upon that stage. And this is what I want to say. This is the message that I want to deliver at this moment if I win. And I just rock with the message. The message was dope. So again, kudos. Let's give him some a round of applause. Round of applause to Killer Mike. And with that being the case, I got some other stuff on here. You know what? I'm gonna say these things simply because I wanna I'm gonna make a short out of this. So let's have this be multi-purpose. Got a bunch of other stuff on the list, but um it kind of changed tonight. I'm just going live just to go live, but stuff kind of changed tonight. So I'm not gonna get into this full list. Um One thing I will say, Bootsy was right. I told y'all at the time that Bootsy was right. Concerning I gotta fix that. Boosie was right about beef. Cause you don't want to just be out here agreeing with Boosie. He was right about this particular situation in the beef. In saying that when you find yourself beefing, y'all say that it's beef, but it can spill out. And when people find themselves in real life situations and you think that it's just music, it's not that. So with the Rick Ross situation, and Rick Ross was kind of wilding, like, why go to Canada and play that song? Like, why? You know what you're trying to do. And I want people to recognize this because people were saying that Drake sent goons. These were not Drake goons. They could have been, I guess. But Drake is from Toronto. Do y'all know where Vancouver is? Like, it's a lot of people that just say, "Oh, Canada." Like, that's like saying Mississippi and California, or not, or New York and California, actually, because literally Toronto is literally on top of New York. Like, it's easy to get there. Vancouver is clear across the country. It's on top of Washington. So, not to say that Drake couldn't have sent some people over here, but it's just Canada. But regardless, like, you got somebody that is representing a whole country in Drake. So it'll probably be best not to go over there, but I'm not gonna say that Drake had anything to do with it. Um, Now he said something about it, which kind of I he shouldn't have. Because Dustin said it. I was live with Dustin yesterday. He said on his page earlier, he said, "Why do this? Because it's gonna make it hot for you." And I would much rather watch. I would much rather have my head on a swivel in Canada than in Miami, and that's 100% true. So yeah, that whole situation was kind of crazy. Rick Ross shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, Drake shouldn't have did that too, where he kind of antagonized them for that because you gonna have to go to Miami at some point. You're gonna have to go to Miami at some point. And things are not gonna like we don't know where his career is gonna be in the future. We don't know if he's gonna still be the boy and have as much money as he has now. Therefore, you don't know if you're gonna be able to move militant as you do now in the future. So yeah, he shouldn't have came and antagonized Rick Ross after that. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. Anywho, this is the one thing I wanted to get to. I got some other stuff on the list, but this is the one thing I wanted to get to, and then we out of here. But before I get there, did y'all watch the debate? We ain't gonna talk about it, but did you watch it? um, I saw something on social media. Let me see. I'm gonna get it on there because I am about to do a video. So y'all gonna watch me do this video. Uh, uh, I love it. Let's see. Let's get this up on the. Can I change this? Let's see if I can change this real quick. Uh, it's not gonna let me change it during the stream, but it's cool. Let's get this off. And let me Bluetooth this to myself. My bad for continuously hitting the mic, guys. Okay, let's see if I can. No, get that off. Present. No, not that. Let's see. It's gonna make me put a slide up. Hold on, let me go check on my son real quick. Ugh. Okay. Sorry about that. Ain't nobody here anyway, so we good. Now let me get back to trying to put this up. That's not coming up. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Will it let me do that? Nope. Just just gonna put that for there for a second. I'm gonna let y'all read it, and then I will jump in and read it. Just leaving a little space. All right, now let's get. Oops, get that out of here. All right, Nas. So I guess it came. This was the first thing it said. Boss Man D-Lo up there with Nas. Boss Man D-Lo up there with Nas. I repeat, Boss Man D-Lo up there with Nas. This is why everybody don't need the internet. Just being honest with you. This is also why, as hip hop fans, hip hop heads, you have to go back. When Illmatic came out, I was alive, but I didn't hear it in 1994. I think the first hip hop song, no, I've heard hip hop before that, but my first favorite song was "Sitting on Top of the World," JD and Brad. But anywho, that's like my earliest recollection of a song that I liked. I was not checking for Illmatic. I was not checking for Illmatic. But when I got older, I went back and I'm like, oh, I get it. I 100% understand the cultural impact of Illmatic. And I also understand the change in hip hop that Illmatic brought. Back before then, you working with one producer. Nas went around just getting beats. And he gave us the blueprint for the modern album. I see what Boss Man D-Lo is doing. To come, like, to make so much noise before you even make the freshman color, to make so much noise before you even make the freshman cover, dope. I get it. And I like, even though there are people out there that sound like him, I just love the originality of him. Even though and it's y'all that say this, not me. I don't listen to him enough to know this. I just know his music is everywhere. But it's y'all that say that, all right, you done gave me the same song 10 times now. Like, Nas made a song from the perspective of a gun. Like, when's the last time have you went out and listened to If I Ruled the World? Like, it's a lot of people out there that they say are conscious rappers today. No, Nas is truly a mainstream conscious rapper. So to see the other one, Nas ain't got one song that make me feel like Mr. Pot Scraper. Well, let me tell you something, and it's interesting. Anyway, let me tell you something. If you feel that Nas does not have one song like Mr. that makes you, if you feel that Nas does not have one song that makes you feel like Mr. Pot Scraper, if you feel now y'all seeing how I do these videos sometimes I just but if you feel that if you feel that Nas does not have one song that make you feel like Mr. Pot Scraper, you need to listen to more Nas. Just point blank period. Like, Nas has a 30-year, 40-year catalog dating back. No, what's 94? So oh 04, 14, 24, 30 years. 30 years of Nas out there. So if you feel like he ain't got it, he got it. You just ain't listened. So I just want people to know that there are levels. Like, Boss Man D-Lo is breaking in. Nas is certified. He is stamped legendary pioneer in the game. So let's just not like everybody don't need the internet. Let's not chill. And this is no disrespect to Boss Man D-Lo. At the end of his career, I'm pretty sure that he would love to have such a storied career as Nas. So that is. And with that, I got my video out the way, and I will holler at y'all later.